destructive presence, especially down to that bot side. And that is a bot lane matchup we've been so excited for, Munch. Elkinon versus Ruler and Missing. Like, you just can't get anything better than this.
You really can't. I mean, both of them are such dominant duos that you always want to see action there. I love that we're getting the Lucian from Ruler. It means that we're going to get some action. But then the answer in this Caitlyn might just diffuse some of that action down in the bottom side. I'm curious what support we end up getting. Whether they end up going for something, you know, a more typical support like a Nautilus kind of thing. Or you can also go for things like the Lux, which is now being hovered. And there we go, locked in for on.
And the thing this makes, these 3 picks specifically, if you add in the Vi, is like, you can just kill someone from 10 miles away. Seriously,
yeah.
acing the whole Lux laser being shot out. Vile, you know, maybe the Vi going for the pick themselves. So, gonna be a lot of pressure now on JDG, just in the whole vicinity around the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, it certainly will be. It feels weird to see Flandre with Lucian, you know? He's, for anyone that doesn't know at home, his nickname is St. Gunbro. He was a Lucian one-trick in the top lane for a long time, way back in the day before he was a pro. So it feels almost right to see him with the Lucian locked in there, even if it will be traded away from him. Anyway, get to the bans. Udyr, Karma, both taken away by BLG, and Akali removed from Knight's Pool.
Yeah, things I'm looking at right now for BLG on 4 would be, I mean, they banned the Udyr, right? So you have the Cassante available, Aatrox if they want to try to go for the stronger side of the matchup potentially. Hui is another pick I'm looking at. It would just round them out with even more long range to be able to play out with the Caitlyn and the Lux. So one of those 2 solo lane options.
If you've got Hui and Lux lands a binding, whoever is bound is doomed. They are completely doomed at that point.
They do end up going with the Cassante in the end, which I think is the right choice. Again, I mean, hell, we saw the strength of it in the last game, right? No one is ever going to doubt Cassante. So now, JDG with where they can go. I mean, they can pick up Hui for themselves. We, of course, still have things like the Azir open, but you really can't outrange BLG's comp, so maybe going that direction might be a little bit futile. But it's kind of hard, right? What can you even really pick that isn't just some kind of like long-range control mage blind? When BLG left counter pick for Knight. Knight with counter pick is a scary thing to think about.
It really, really is. Let's see what Flandre is going to go for in the top side as well. Hovering the Yone, which I don't know if Flandre will go for the Yone. It doesn't strike me as a really Flandre champion, whereas the Aatrox, he's played 5 games of that so far this split. Okay, ADTF comes in. I'm assuming it's AD. That'll be going up to the top side to take on this Cassante.
Yeah, now it's about where BLG goes with the answer. We highlighted the Azir. We just saw the Taliyah hover as well. I always like when you play Taliyah with something like the Caitlyn to just enable its spot lane presence even more. I mean, any of these options that they're kind of hovering right now would fit their comp just fine. But now that we've got the holistic drafts, I'm with you, Munch. We get to see the ADTF come out. We know it's been a menace in solo queue. A lot of the changes into enabling that ADTF.
It's been a menacing career from what I've seen. We've seen a fair bit of it over in LCK. It's been sort of avoided in LPL so far, but we finally get it locked in, and Flandre will bring it to the table. Bim, see what he can do to deal with this pick. It's an exciting draft. New mid laner in Hui. We've got the ADTF. We've got Caitlyn Lux bot lane as well coming out from BLG. They want to snowball.
Different from anything we saw in 2023.
It certainly is. Different rosters. Let's see how it happens as we head on to Summoner's Rift to kick off JDG versus BLG.
Trying to look for a bit of a trap bot side, not going to be able to find it. But I kind of want to hit on the soul lanes real quick, because it's kind of interesting when you have TF top on one team and Taliyah mid on the other, because it opens up for, you know, potential out of nowhere 3-man collapses on either of those lanes from both teams. What I will say that goes against JDG, though, is TF obviously in that top lane. It is a much longer lane. It would be very easy for Vi, for Taliyah, Knight and Shun going up and punishing, more so than I feel like it works in reverse. since Knight should always be relatively close to his turret farming. So, yeah, I'd kind of put Flandre in the slightly more in danger camp, but I think a lot's going to come down to BLG actually playing to that side of the map. And you have a Caitlyn Lux, so you're not necessarily incentivized to do so.
Yeah, it's one of those matchups where in that top side, getting Flandre's flash is so incredibly valuable. If anyone can get up there, if Shun can go for an early gank and try and force the flash out from Flandre, it will set up Knight to be able to make those kinds of plays. Already, Elkanon, massive priority in the bottom side. Not surprising at all. You fully expect Caitlyn and Lux to control this lane, at very least until Lucian has abilities to try and close the gap and get some damage down.
Yeah, then a lot's going to come down to, right, on an Elk being able to land the poke, whittle him down, so he can't just look for those dashes and all-ins. If Ruler's never full HP, you're not going to be able to get on top of Elkanon safely. So, should be in control of this lane. We can see Shun pathing down, which is what you'd expect to be able to give them that level of attention that they'd want. I wouldn't really expect to see BLG putting all too much into top lane. Maybe until that first reset comes out from Shun, and then you're already back up towards that top side. Maybe you look for a gank, and you're closer to the time when Knight would be hitting that level 6 mark.
Kanavi pathing up towards that top side, though. Perhaps he can... I mean, is there a dive argument? It is a Cassante. There's a big damage out from Yagao. Using this... I mean, Hui just seems like such a lane-dominant champion. Every time the camera pans to the mid lane, if Hui is playing, it feels like Hui is dominating the matchup.
His kit just offers so much, right? I mean, again, you have so many different ways to lock people down with CC from your E. I mean, your QE as a slow, your ult as a slow. Obviously, a lot of people use the W for the 3 enhanced attacks, which you can then, like, QW someone off your screen. They get the enhancement from your W. There's just so many, like, different play patterns for Hui that really lets him operate in just about any situation.
And the fact that Elkanon as well know that Kanavi pathed up towards that top side. You can see there was a ward at the Raptors. It's given away that information. Means they can play as aggressive as they want. It's even harder for Ruler, because even when you get this poke damage off on the Lucian, fleet footwork there for Elk on the Caitlyn, you're going to slowly but surely just sustain that back up, keep the range advantage going. They are doing a good job to trade effectively, though. However, pretty low on CS right now on the side of Ruler. Looking for this all-in, but the binding hits won't be able to find their way in.
Like you're saying, doing a decent job. All mana from Ruler is gone, so we'll see how much more he can do, but Elk is so incredibly low.
He is. Heal available for On. He still has barrier as well. I think he's baiting. I think he's trying to get them to go for the all-in. It's not going to happen for now. They're going to go for a reset here. Oh, the damage coming out from On already, chunking people.
See if they're gonna have to go for the disadvantageous space. Looks like Elk is just gonna end up sticking around in the end. I mean, shouldn't be too much threat from Ruler missing. You know, once we hit the level 6 mark, won't be able to stick around like this because you have to worry about things like the culling, chunking you out from under turret, but not gonna have to worry about anything like that thus far.
And I feel like theoretically, flash forced. Yagao was winning out that mid lane, but Knight gets his opportunity. Flash off of an immobile control mage in the mid lane. Shun could find some angles to get into the mid lane now. As he moves down towards his bottom side, Kanavi has started the Drake. He's already used the smite on the Drake as well. Elk is baiting. He's got his barrier available. He wants Ruler to go aggressive, and go aggressive he does. Shun doesn't go for the way in though. Decides they don't want the fight in the end.
No, gonna back off. So not only kind of able to turn around this bot lane, still down a bit of CS, which is what we'd expect from those first few waves, but now in a position where they can contest the wave, gonna open up for Kanavi to be able to take this Drake. We've had Prio in topside because we have the ranged matchup from the TF. You had Prio in mid up until recently, so just overall really good early lane states for JDG, which is giving them the small gold lead. I mean, I guess a lot of it's going to come from Flandre as well, right? Especially with the new passive in terms of critting, making it so you can earn even more gold.
Yep. Flandre actually using the Ghost there, maybe thinking there was more of a chance on Bin than there was, but it's a Ghost for Ghost, and Kanavi gets the Drake down bot side, moves up to the top side. Flandre actually used his ult as well. in one of those trades. I'm assuming Bin was in a brush, and Flandre just wanted to keep his distance and keep getting those autos in. He's built almost a 20 CS gold lead. Gold lead? 20 CS lead in that top side right now. Fantastic performance coming out from him so far.
And a bit unexpected, because I think one area where people have not criticized JDG, but identified JDG as a team is that they haven't been one of these like super dominant in the early game, like BLG top esports teams, right? Been a bit slower, been a bit more calculated, playing around a lot of team fights. So it's nice to see them get off to such a good start when they draft for it, right? They obviously having planned to use this ADTF and topside.
Yeah.
Kanavi so far has been having a great season as well, so he's a great player to try and play around to get a lead. He's been doing so with these neutrals.
Oh boy. This Caitlyn looks to start to come online the second you're hit by a binding. You're just chunked immediately. And, you know, fair play to Ruler and Missing. They did a really good job to weather the first few levels and trade more evenly, and even forced Elkanon out of the lane, got Prio for the Drake. But this lane does not get any easier for now. Kanavi's moving in, but Shun is here as well. Level 6 acquired for both junglers. This could get really interesting down on the bottom side of the map. Kanavi moves onto the ward, and immediately Elk and On have to flee for their lives. Heal going to be used for the movement speed, but Kanavi flashes to knock them back. On flashes, Elk flashes as well. Missing follows in suit, but the football just ain't enough. And it will be a play diffused. Shun moves in, but decides not to go for it. That's the second time he's visited bot and just kind of looked.
Great job by Kanavi, though, to be able to get those summoners with the flash knockback. Maybe an overkill for Missing flashing forward and throwing out the Q himself. I don't know what world that would have been able to continue the play, but the hype was clearly still there, and now it's going to be a lot more dangerous for Elk and On to be able to push up as freely as they've had. We'll see if Shun's going to spend more time on the spot side to enable it, or if they're finally going to start looking top.
Oh. All out comes from Bin. He keeps on missing these Qs though. Unable to get the Q3 stacked up. And it means that he just has to walk away. I feel like there was maybe an opportunity if he could have hit those Qs while Ghost was down, but unfortunately couldn't make it happen. And we'll just try and push this wave on in. I think when his ult's up, that's pretty much the only time he ever gets Prio in this lane, as the gold card comes out as well. And Flandre looking for a bit more, as here we go, combo in the mid lane. No flash for Yagao, and he's taken down immediately. Kanavi trying to walk away. Ult came out from Flandre as well there. Bin barely surviving on the top side.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for the back. Luckily, his TP is gonna be coming up in a second. Actually sticking around. Knight has Weaver's Wall. Flandre's probably just dead.
He has flash available, but I don't think you even get much chance to use your flash here, to be honest. Bin doesn't even get an assist. That's unfortunate for him, but not the end of the world. You got the kill, and that's what matters. 2 kills for Knight.
This is also why stats are misleading, because now that's going to count as a solo kill for Knight when, you know, does it really deserve to be? I don't know, but he still made his way up top to secure the kill. So despite the early game, dominance is too strong of a word, but control that JDG have been shown, BLG just answering back with kills. You highlighted on the combo, instant lockdown with the ult, which sets up for the seismic shove into the Qs to follow by Knight. And then Flandre wanting to get this next wave in ends up being his downfall. Knight just honestly kind of being given a free kill since he didn't use that Weaver's Wall earlier.
Honestly, pretty greedy from Flandre there to stay when you're so low, when your mid lane has just died and you're against a Talia. I'm not sure what else he expected, but great play from Knight. 2-0 already. What a start for BLG. And Knight saying hello to his old squad, saying hello to his replacement in Yagao, setting it up, pulling the flash out from his opposing member earlier on, and it pays dividends now. But JDG back onto the map immediately, and they're looking for 6 grubs.
I think it's good for the composition, right? When you have the TF, that's what you're setting up for. But BLG ready to answer in kind with what feels like their patented specialty at this point in time. You know, every year a different team gets to claim the bot lane dive is their thing. This split, it is definitely BLG who get to claim the bot lane dive.
Would you say that BLG are the modern FPX then? Is that where you'd go with
No,
that one? I feel like that was an FPX thing in a very different way.
Yeah. I feel like the only team I've ever seen like really go to the FPX extent is actually predating FPX. It's 2015 HQ, who used to just everyone go bot every chance you can get. BLG, it's, you know, they go bot, they destroy bot, and they're like, yo, let's go elsewhere. Let's go do other things. We don't only
Let's
need to go
use this
bot.
gold for objectives.
Exactly.
Old Flandre has stepped up, but to be honest, I'm not sure this is a matchup K'Sante can ever look for the 1v1 unless CF stands, you know, next to the wall and you can ult him under the tower. It's just so easy to kite the K'Sante out as long as you can dodge those Qs. But like you said, the Void Grubs are going to be a problem for BLG. ADTF might be the best Void Grub abuser in the entire game.
Yeah, but again, you're gonna have to keep being on standby for these Weaver's walls, because Flandre's gonna constantly be pressuring up against turret. Wait, I gotta pauses. On Kanavi, not gonna be looking for any of that smoke just yet. I do want to point out that Weaver's wall is about to be back up, and BLG have a comp that kind of can play to both sides of the map. Usually it is a little bit risky, but I think their bot lane has a lot of defensive tools.
Oh, they dodged. Nice, the binding lands. Okay, they're not actually going to commit to anything. Just a bit of damage onto Kanavi there. They managed to dodge away from the W from Kanavi. Look at this, by the way. Elk, in the meantime, just stacking up plates. They've got 4 plates. I think 3 of them were solo.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure at least 2 of them were. The third, not positive, but still just wanting to hang around this area, which is allowing for the Caitlyn Lux to play so aggressively. It's kind of fending off Kanavi from being able to make his way into his jungle with his red buff spawning soon. Even going to open up for a Scuttle Crab for Shun.
Just clearing away as much vision as possible. I don't know if they spot... Yeah, they've got a ping on the other ward, but won't be able to clear it with that sweeper, unfortunately. In the meantime, Flandre continuing to build a big old lead up in this top side, about 20 CS up. Able to get 2 plates for himself, and I feel like we are at the point in the game where he will be able to turn that into more. This is your last minute to get those plates, but he's got a bit of attack speed, he's got those grubs to work with. And Elk might be able to finish this tower. A couple of headshots would do the trick. There's the passive. Tower finished with the plates up as well. Bit of harass onto Ruler, although the shield actually stops the entire headshot. Or the entire ace in the hole, sorry.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising this early on, but I guess Elk doesn't have a whole ton of damage just yet to really be whittling that one down. I am a bit surprised that we haven't seen BLG start to be a bit more proactive on the map. Maybe now that Caitlyn and Lux aren't locked into the bot lane, they actually can more confidently start looking for picks with the Talia and the Vi, because now Elk and On are going to be in a much safer spot, catching and pushing waves in mid.
Yep, they can just push mid on repeat and even threaten the mid tower if JDG shows elsewhere on the map as well. It becomes incredibly scary because Caitlyn takes these towers so quickly. You can see Stormrazor picked up for Elk at this point, as well as those boots. It's a terrifying siege machine on your screen right there.
It really is. I mean, just first items actually across the board really for both sides. Finally, I was going to say Flandre picking up the static shiv now, so that really going to level up the pushing power by quite a big margin.
Now, trying to get this damage down with the shields. Honestly, Missing's been doing a good job to deny anything, but see you later. No! Almost survived there for a second as Elk manages to get away with the net. The barrier's still in play. Can he survive this one? No! Too much damage. It's Kanavi to finish it in the end on chase down, but it's not enough. Kanavi falls 2 for 1 in favor of BLG.
Yeah, and hell, Elk wouldn't have even gone down if Ruler would have died a little bit faster and the flash didn't have to come through. Kind of panicking, hoping that he could finish that one off. Did go down in the end. Does open up for the Rift Herald. Dragon isn't going to be too far behind.
Well, you said you wanted to see more proactivity for BLG. Instant kill there coming out. Shun flashes into the play, sets up for the kill onto Ruler. Even though JDG could extend the play and trade onto Elk, unfortunately not able to do it cleanly. And Knight now, another assist to his name. Shun picking up some gold himself. It's looking pretty good right now for BLG as Knight even gets some pressure on the top side and has Shun just up there with him. Herald in pocket. They're going to be able to finish tier 1.
Yeah, JDG in kind of waiting in the wings, but I was going to say they could actually get pinched on. I don't know how much a Lux flank would have done. So a lot smarter for On to be meeting up with them, but still going to prevent any action from really coming on through. Is a bit peculiar to see both teams rotating up towards top when Dragon just came through on the board. But we're going to get a replay here of exactly what went down. And you hit the nail on the head, right? Great control over this brush towards top side. Missing walking up. Shun Q flash, just beautiful. And again, a bit unfortunate for Ruler. Flashes to follow, not expecting the burn to be able to finish him off in the end, and allows for the return kill to come through with Kanavi.
I'm not even sure what that final bit of burst was from On, honestly. I wonder if there was an auto traveling in the air and it was Lux passive that went off to... Because it didn't look like a burn rate. It looked like a proc of damage, but not sure, not sure. Either way, kill goes over. And Elg ends up, unfortunately, losing his own life for it. But yeah, Drake started up. JDG should be able to get this one. Looks uncontested inside of BLG as they send Knight back up to the top side and get some kind of answer at very least. Bit of gold into Knight's pocket. Not that he's not already had a bit of gold in his pocket, to be honest. Knight has got incredibly far ahead of the curve in this game.
Yeah, I mean, his Seraph's already just, I mean, fully completed, right? Having that one online, you know, the lifeline passive there, it's giving him a little bit more safety to play with. And I really like what BLG are doing here, trying to, like, pinch around the mid lane turret, make it so no one from JDG can look for any angles, and great Weaver's Wall from preventing anyone from following through.
This is like a case study on how to play Caitlyn Talia, right? You use it to set up for these towers. Trap couldn't quite get in range of Kanavi, so they can't find a pick there. That's all 3 tier 1s taken now. Really, really great map play from BLG to just pick off these objectives. 2,500 gold lead. On, aggressed upon by Kanavi. Here comes Flandre as well as On gets out with his life. Ruler immediately just dived on and one shot. There's nothing he can do in that one. And Kanavi taken over the wall and taken down. Bin finds another one for himself. It's BLG, just dominate.
And this is pretty much like prime BLG, how you want to see them, right? Shun and Knight on things that can be proactive, that can create plays. Elk on things that are very strong in lane, and you're kind of playing around their positioning, especially Alec, when you can just leave him to his own devices to put out DPS. Like, this comp really just screams BLG to me, and they're really working wonders with it. As you said, I mean, just immediately able to pounce on JDG after they're the ones looking for the engage on. You cannot stop the Vi from being able to get to the back line, and there is that tried and true combo once again. And it really seems like, especially people like Yagao, like Flandre, struggling to find any way to impact these fights.
Yeah. I wonder if Flandre sort of baited his team a little bit there, because the ult went off straight away. And it makes it look like, you know, TF is about to arrive and it's all going to kick off. But actually, he didn't TP in for a good little while. He had to move into the river. He wasn't in range to start with. He was all the way in the bot side. So wasn't really a part of the play in any significant way. I wonder if JDG maybe were expecting him to arrive a little earlier than he did. Either way, it's a play for BLG. It's a 3,000 gold lead, and they continue to push the advantage here. Push in all 3 lanes at this point, as they look towards the top side to start taking some jungle camps as well.
And right, as Bin's getting more resistances, it's only going to be harder for Flandre to put any meaningful damage on him, which is going to allow him to push up and also kind of dissuade that TF pressure. Just a lot of things going against JDG right now, despite the interesting pick that they were willing to show here in the LPL. Still, second item now picked up for Ruler. There's one man you want to see get items under his belt. It's him. The rapid fire cannon going to try and help match him with the range being put out by the opposing squad.
I feel like JDG really want like a scrappy, close quarter, like messy, spread out, like skirmishy fight, you know? And I don't think BLG are ever going to give that to them. Unless Flandre TP's behind or something. Like, realistically, BLG want the exact opposite. They want to be as far away as possible and just space JDG. And I feel like it's hard for JDG to stop that happening with the composition that they've got.
I feel like the problem is, I think BLG also actually just win the opposite way as well. I feel like if both teams run headfirst into each other, the problem is between Vi, Lux, and Talia, we've seen it time and time again, they just get to guarantee one person dies if Shun's ult is up. Because you get to chain it into all the other CC and burst so easily. So it feels like almost every fight you're fighting is going to be a 5v4. we still really have yet to see what this TF has brought to this game other than the lane prio that he had. Hasn't really been able to pressure sides, hasn't been able to find an impact in any of these fights.
We'll see if he can get involved in the game a little bit more. 40 CS up, has his 2 items, and that is sort of where TF starts to be able to really pressure on these towers and whatnot. He's got 6 scrubs to work with. I was sort of expecting him to be able to do a little bit more in the side lanes, but so far not really been able to have that impact. Drake coming up soon though. It's 2 for 1 on Drake so far, but I feel like this is probably going to be BLG all over it.
You know, kind of going back to your last point, though, about Spicy's not pressuring more, it kind of like the longer the game sits and the more we look at the drafts, right, it feels so hard because you have to worry about a Vi who can point and click CC you pushing sides, which, you know, Knight doesn't really have to worry about the exact same thing on the opposite side. While also then you have to worry about the Lux ult that can come if On just slightly hovers down into River. A lot more threat on JDG pushing sides. So now trying to commit 4 members to this.
I guess Knight does have to worry about it after all, as he immediately gets picked off in the side lane. But it's actually Flandre doing it to him. So kind of the opposite problem where it is the side laner that's picking you off. In the meantime, Sean on that Drake. So great opposite play from JDG to punish.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Knight does have to worry about the pickoff coming through when JDG commit all 5 members up towards top side. Did open up, like you said, for the Drake to go through for BLG. And now we're going to start getting into the window where these teams are playing more proactively around Baron. Which is kind of going to be a nice kind of contrast to our last series. Which, you know, no shade, the much younger and inexperienced teams, right? BLG and JDG, 2 teams who are incredibly comfortable playing around this objective, as we're going to see here. I mean, sadly, Destiny comes through into the gold card. Not much Knight can do other than look at the minimap and be like, hey, JDG aren't showing anywhere. What's going on?
Yeah, BLG now starts to threaten the Baron. There is a ward there, so full information right now for JDG. Ruler barely gets away from the binding from On. That could have been disastrous. And once again, we're here. BLG versus JDG hits our screens again, and it's tense. It feels like, yes, BLG have the lead for now, but it's only 2,000 gold in their favor. And it really could turn around to JDG if they play their cards right. Keeping my eyes on Knight here. 2 items, he's had an incredible impact earlier on in this game. Same for Elk, actually, 2 items at this point. He's gone for the Infinity Edge second, so he has literally very little attack speed. He's going all damage.
Yeah, really just wanting to hit with that headshot as hard as he can. And BLG kind of doing the tried and true of just keeping that range while Knight is able to push out on top. I like that BLG have really kept a lot of their play more pick-centric, which is interesting, right? Because both comps have those elements. BLG really feels like they've kind of ham-fisted their comp into being full pick, really willing to just collapse on you at any time. Doesn't seem like either team really too comfortable to look for any sort of baits around the Baron. I don't think BLG's comp actually could, the more I look at it, right? Very squishy, very long range. They have a very hard time burning it down. That would kind of be giving JDG the perfect chance to look for that engage on you at this point.
Yeah, realistically, the best thing about this comp is trying to pressure those towers, right? But it feels so difficult to step too far forwards, especially against this Twisted Fate. The one thing I will say, Caitlyn can do incredibly well. It's Twisted Fate. You drop, assume, like, this is assuming Caitlyn's not currently under massive amounts of pressure and having to run away, but if you can place the trap underneath the teleport, it's a free headshot, and Caitlyn does a lot of damage with those headshots, especially if you can Q on it on top of it. So Flandre does have to be careful on his positioning, especially with On being able to follow up with bindings as well. BLG just full control of this mid lane and setting up with control towards the Baron area as well.
Now really doing a nice job of denying that vision. I mean, they have some mean brush plays that can come through. Ooh!
Oh no!
Showing us Ruler's flash.
And you know, usually I'll say that our observers are pretty aggressive, but that is so crucial. Lucian not having flash, it means you can't play anywhere near as aggressive as you want to. Flandre using his ultimate here, so he can push this wave, and then I assume TP to safety. And there we go. Actually moving towards the rest of his team. Bin has teleport available if JDG try and brute force something, but Not really sure if they can brute force anything on. Forced to flash, ult comes out, and Kanavi's underneath the tower. In the meantime, Shun goes to buy space for his team, flashes back out to safety, but then Culling finishes him off. Finally, JDG on the board a little bit here. 1-for-1 though, as Bin looks for a little bit more. The headshot comes on through as well. Ace in the hole, and Elk finds it. Ruler dodging away as Bin steps forward once again. Yagao tries to get the more, but Elk sidesteps it.
And I feel like we're starting to see that the lone Xin Zhao, not nearly enough frontline for them to be able to decisively take these fights. The second he's down, it's like we just saw. How do Yagao and Ruler even walk forward anymore to try to put out more damage? We'll see the replay. It starts with Flandre picking onto On. I'm surprised they were willing to commit so much for it. Does get the fight going. It all gets a little bit messy to start off. Sure, they have the burst with the Culling to be able to finish off that first kill, but then a stun comes through from On. They chain it into the trap. Flandre gets traded. Bin can just start running the rest of them down. And you just look at Yagao and Ruler. I mean, we saw Ruler to burn his flash, like not had to, but burned his flash only a moment ago. It didn't look like they were anywhere near comfortable to really be able to follow up after the initial engage happened.
Great little fight from BLG, managing to play it defensively, play backwards, and the QSS essentially coming out from On just in time for the gold card, keeps himself safe. Elk is doing huge damage in this game now, and it feels tense, it feels dangerous for JDG, but BLG do feel like they're sort of stalling out a little bit with this composition. You kind of want them. Oh my god, the headshot damage on Ruler. What is that? Elk absolutely chunking his opposite man. Drake has spawned onto the map. 2 Drakes apiece here.
Setting up just for now. BLG being incredibly patient. Looks like Shun's just going to start that one off by himself. They have wards around the pit, so they know JDG aren't even approaching. So this looks like it should just be a free soul point, but JDG catching on, realize they need to start moving up to the Baron. They need to threaten something.
Okay, TFTP right into the pit. They do this so incredibly quickly. And this is Caitlyn's nightmare. Trying to play into the enemy team is not what Caitlyn wants to be doing. JDG peel off of the Baron here. The Weaver's Wall trying to deny the exit, but Bin just takes a chunk. BLG have done enough, though. They've deterred the Baron. They didn't get the Drake in the meantime, though. Shun had to peel away too fast. And now they move back down towards that side of the map.
Ooh, with JDG fully committing the resets, though, doesn't look like they're in a position to go for the same sort of threat again. This one should just be soul point. I mean, I guess JDG didn't even have to threaten the Baron the first time. As I said, I realized, wait, no, this isn't soul. This is just soul point. So,
yeah,
still nice by JDG to do it, because even if you don't have to, right, you have the option available. Best case scenario would have been BLG would have just, for whatever reason, turned their brains off and then let you have Baron. So, I don't expect BLG to do it, but there are certainly teams in the league who would.
Yeah. I mean, it's good practice, isn't it, to threaten the opposite play in case your opponent doesn't respect it. Missing, stepping out of the brush for a second there, trying to look juicy, trying to bait them in. They're not going to fall for it. It's BLG, a very controlled game here. Much slower than we're sort of used to seeing BLG play. But remember, BLG recently losing out to IG, and I feel like it might have kind of scared them a little bit. It might be a bit of a wake-up call for them, because they didn't just lose to IG, they got crushed by IG.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Going down 0-2. So on the opposite side, right, we can see JDG 4-0, remaining undefeated. Both of these teams definitely in the top 3 of people's power rankings coming in. I think at this point, whether people would rate JDG above Tez or not, who knows? Hell, even rating between these two teams, who knows until the series is fully fleshed out. I do got to say, though, Knight has typically had Yagao's number. A 65% win rate against him across their careers in LPL at internationals.
He has. And I will say, Yagao, he's had a couple of rough games this split, to be honest. There's been a few times where he's not really on the same page with his team, sometimes not playing on tempo with them, not pushing the wave at the right time, etc., etc.
Even just mechanical missteps in some games.
Yeah.
I remember his Azir play top where he couldn't dash away from the turret and almost died. Or did he die? He might have died. Speaking of death, Bin not going to go down to the jaws of it today, much.
What is that segue? Speaking of death.
Me being very profound once again, you know? The Sage of
Oh,
the Mountain's back.
He certainly is, in force. This is a bit of a stalemate, isn't it? I feel like both teams are so scared to go to a side lane because a fight could kick off at any moment. JDG sort of threatening with the idea of Baron. And just the endless battle for mid-prio. Bin stepped way too far forward, forced out again. Yagao chunked out by Elk.
Oh, Flandre, Destiny behind. I think he has 4 items right now, so Flandre is pretty huge.
Ooh.
Not huge when he's alone, though.
Yeah, forced to ghost and flash there as Shunt immediately flashes over the wall. Looked for the ult himself. Oh, they found it. They found an opportunity. Knight turns gold, and this is 4v3 right now as Kanavi on the front line. But Elk is low on HP, and he's not managed to get much distance there. Kanavi chases him away, and they separate Ruler. That's a kill for BLG on the top side as Flandre now. Chase down Q3, knocks him back into the play, and BLG find themselves enough kills. They find themselves an opportunity on the Baron.
Now we're going to see what JDG can do. Yagao is still up as well. He has TP. If he went to come in, they're low health bars. But it looks like JDG not even interested. Is going to lead to Baron going over for Bilibili.
This might be the chance for Bilibili to finally get a win over JDG. It's been so long. They've got individual game wins. They've not been able to get themselves to the series, but setting off strong. Knight joining the team, working wonders so far.
Now we're going to see all of this starting off with them trying to pick off Yagao with that long-range snipes. Really nice answer onto Knight and Kind, but look at the minimap. Kasante's on his way on the flank. You have Shun here able to single out Ruler, and every time he's just going to be deleted. And it's that kind of like point-and-click pick potential they have that it just seems like JDG cannot contend with.
It feels like if there's a squishy target there as well, Elk just turns his sights to them and they vanish. They cease to exist. One auto comes through onto Flandre at the end of the fight and he just vanishes. The headshot, now it's getting through the shield. It is definitely getting through the shield at this point.
LTR finished.
Yeah.
He's huge.
4 items on the Caitlyn. It's definitely scary. We're past the mid-game lull that everyone always talks about with Caitlyn. We are very much at late game crit 80 carry that outranges everything else in the game.
And JDG trying to just fend them off, but it doesn't even look like they're doing any damage. And look how built Flandre is. Like, Flandre is a huge lead in terms of CS because he's been just permanently keeping those sides, but not able to do too much. I guess in the last fight, he did kind of single himself out, which ended up biting him in the end. We haven't really gotten to see him DPS, but it seems like the lack of frontline, just having to rely on only Kanavi, is making it really hard for JDG to find any type of fights that they want.
Tough situation for JDG though. This is just going to be sold by BLG, and
3 mountains in a mountain soul on Kasante.
And an Ocean Drake just to top it all off as well. A little bit of regen in there. Yeah, it's a tough situation for JDG, and I don't disagree with them conceding, honestly, because I'm not sure it's a fight that you can win. But after conceding that, can you ever win any future fights is the question. It's feeling like BLG have everything that they need to finish this game out. Still 30 seconds on the Baron, so this tier 2 will not last long.
No, they're going to be able to keep this going, and I don't even know if JDG really have any options to engage. BLG actually being the ones.
They've got Yagao. They've got Yagao. His flash is available, forced to use it. In the meantime, Q3 manages to land, and they just CC Kanavi up. He barely gets his ult off in time. Bin barely surviving though. Dashes out to safety. 1-for-1, jungler for jungler. It's a close one though for BLG, and here comes Flandre looking for the TP behind them. Where did he go? To the mid lane.
Oh, he's... Flandre's just playing a different game right now.
He just saw 4 minions.
Yeah, I was going to say, might pivot top, but with the Baron buff, not going to be able to do that. I cannot believe Kanavi survived for so long. I genuinely want to know how he didn't get popped earlier, which is how much damage is being thrown to him. You see Yagao going to be forced to flash, but it's this Q3 into the seismic shove that ends up setting the pick possibility there. A lot of the damage comes through, but ulti's popped. And
yeah, so I think he got knocked back away, and that pushed him out of Elk's range. So then that last headshot is blocked by the ultimate after a bunch of healing comes through from missing.
Yeah.
So and just about managing to survive.
even Knight, I think, was also right outside of it on that opposite side of the wall. So bought enough time. Honestly, kind of lucky. Bought enough time for JDG to survive. Then again, I'm actually a bit surprised BLG didn't hold on to the Weaver's wall for the set of inhibitor turrets. And it felt like maybe could have made a more decisive play there. I mean, they still got Yagao's flash just from the initial wall, right? So even if they just backed off from there, would have been huge. But still, 4K gold lead Mountain, so I don't think BLG are sweating over anything right now.
No, they are certainly not.
Full
Look at
build
the size
Flandre,
of the
though.
Mountain Soul shield as well. Like, Elk has got a good 500-600 HP shield right there. It's going to be tough for the side of JDG to contest this at this point. Baron coming up in a minute and a half, and BLG, they just maintain control. Keep pushing these waves in. Could even go and get those side lanes pushed in as well, but perhaps a little afraid of what TF can bring to the table, so deciding that they've just got to ARAM it for now. Don't want to separate, don't want to give an opportunity over to Flandre.
And Flandre's full build now. Like, he is completely topped up between just how much he's been farming, again, between his passive, between the now kind of slightly extra gold you make from when you crit as well. Like, he has just been a money-making machine.
He certainly has. And, I mean, you know, I wonder how much gold he got from his passive, actually. I'd love to see that. I don't know if you can see that in post-game scoreboards or not. But, I mean, the fact that he's managed to get there basically a whole item ahead of everyone else, you can see that CS-wise he's similar to where Elk is at, but managing to finish the job sooner with less kills. Must be getting quite a bit from that passive. And there you go, you can see the gold relatively even, so Elk should be finishing his last item any minute now.
God, we're going to come down. We're just coming down to so many Elder fights these days. It's crazy to see. BLG going to try and start off by setting up for a pick. And I still feel like even with how big Flandre is, the problem really is just the vibe. Like, the fact that Shun could just be like, all right, Flandre, I'm pressing R. You are no longer a problem. Knight could follow up if he needs to with the Weaver's Wall. You could even just have Elk throw out the ace in the hole or on throw out the laser. Like, there's so many ways to just single whoever you decide is the biggest threat out instantly.
Well, they've managed to get through Bin's Mountain Soul Shield, so that's progress. See if they can turn it into anything more as now pushing down the mid lane. The wave flow is just too much, though. They have to go up towards this Baron. I don't know when Elder is going to spawn. I didn't think to time it myself, and even the icon on the minimap doesn't work. So we'll never know. But here we go, BLG threatening the Baron for now. As Bin moves up towards the rest of his team, Nye is waiting with that Weaver's Wall. He's ready to separate JDG, and there it goes, cuts them in half. Zonya's immediately for Nye. He has his flash available. Kanavi chases him. In the meantime, Baron has gone down. Bin surviving the culling as Knight will fall here. Flandre, in fact, Kanavi finishing that kill off, but 4 resets come on through. And BLG get the Baron they were looking for.
Well, it seems, well, there it is. We didn't know when it was going to come up, but Elder comes up. It is now 5v4. You assume BLG just get this, right?
You assume JDG do, yeah. They're going to try. The root comes out as well. That's no way to JDG win this game. No way did JDG find a way back into this game. BLG have been so ahead the entire time, putting so much pressure on. But now Elder Drake off the back of Knight. Kind of getting caught out there on the top side of the play. And it was him that was trying to set that up.
Yeah, and now another full item, full build complete with the Caitlyn being set up. We're going to come to the replay here trying. I don't even really know what he's trying to do, honestly. The wall comes out, potentially looking for the turn with this team. You're not really separating anyone from being able to walk to the pit. And it just makes it easy for Kanavi to be able to turn. You don't even need the gold card. You could just dish out the damage with the red. And then that just gives them the Elder.
Unfortunate stuff from Knight. And uncharacteristically not having a Dark Seal in his inventory. It's not often you see that. He has died 3 times this game, so maybe this isn't the game for it. And unfortunately, I don't know if we're actually going to see JDG finding a fight with this Elder Dragon, you know? Oh, hang on. TP to the top side as Flandre zips away on the other side, and we're in full retreat. Trying to find an opportunity on that top side where we can maybe pick someone alone, but it's opened up this mid lane for JDG.
Oh!
Where did Missing go? Elk just one-shot him, and he one-shot Yagao as well. This damage is insane. They're beating them with Elder Dragon. JDG have just been demolished.
We saw them and then they disappeared off of Summoner's Rift. Now, gonna be able to push forward 50-second that timer as much. They have a lot of time to work with.
And again, Flandre not a part of the play. I feel like that's sort of been the story all game long. Flandre's not really been a part of this match when it comes to the teamfight spins. Looking for the Q3, he might just get it as well. He's not needed. Who needs him? The ace in the hole just annihilates them. And that is going to be game. They've got a wave, they've got Baron. BLG, it looked a little dicey when they lost the Elder. But realistically, a controlled game one as they take down JDG.
Yeah, I mean, kind of closer affair in the end than I think what it potentially should have been. But overall, exciting to see from BLG. I love them bringing back, again, that trio of Vi, Lux, Caitlyn. Throw the Talia in there. Has great synergy with the Vi. Just so much pick potential, so much long range, like damage. It felt like early enough you were able to dissuade the TF a little bit. You were constantly hammering down on your bot side. Like, just so much able to be done with this composition, and they used it beautifully.
Yeah, Elk definitely being the star celebrity of this composition, where the entire comp is built around either setting him up for kills or protecting him in the fight. So then we got to 6 items, he just started one-shotting people. It was ridiculous. Apparently, we're ready for our MVP already, which makes a lot of sense because we're watching retroactively. Yeah. So we can do this a little bit quicker. Elk gets the MVP, not surprising.
Nope, great performance on the Caitlyn, a player you can trust to be able to bring this out, dominating the lane, play out amazingly in the team fights. And I also love Poetic deleting, kind of missing the last person that we got to see from JDG deleted. Elk's former lane partner being shown